Hello, everybody, and welcome to Music Industry Insights Worldwide. Today we've got Robert Frezza with us. Hi, how are you? Sorry, Rob, I couldn't hear you. You still there?
Here, good. I said, good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, thanks so
Okay.
much for coming along. It's really nice to have you on the show. Do you want to tell the listeners a little bit more about yourself, where you're from, and what you do?
Okay. So I'm originally from Buffalo, New York,
Yeah,
and I moved to New York City in 2010.
yeah,
And I'm a music and fashion journalist,
awesome.
basically, in a nutshell.
That's beautiful. So, how did you get started in music and fashion journalism? Because that's a lovely combination.
Well, I always wanted to get into the music journalism side of things because I I watched a lot of MTV growing up.
So did I.
Yeah, so it's just like the interview process appealed to me, the questioning, the questions itself.
Yeah,
And I always wanted to be like a news jockey or a VJ on MTV. And it never panned out because MTV doesn't really exist anymore.
yeah.
But
That was a good
here I am.
place for people to start, right? And that was also a good platform to give people a voice and also help them get seen, in a place where we didn't have social media. So how do you think
Right.
it's changed now?
Things have changed. I don't think journalism is a thing anymore. It's all social media and
Yeah,
AI,
yeah,
really. Um, but I'm still forging ahead. There's still outlets that have writers on board, and I keep on looking for many outlets to write for. So I write for Once to Watch, and I write for the Aquarian right now. So they're really
So tell
good
us
outlets.
more about your fashion and your journalism. How does that combine and music as well? Because I think it's really interconnected.
Um, well, I do New York Fashion Week too, so that's another plus. So I think that's where they combine really massively
Mhm.
together and well, if I must say. Um, you have a lot of musicians going to New York Fashion Week. You have a lot of celebrities going to New York Fashion Week. They play at New York Fashion Week, so that's why I like covering the Fashion Weeks shows and stuff like that
It's
too.
so cool. It's London Fashion Week this week as well. So shout out to London Fashion Week this week.
Oh, is it? Is it? Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. That's right. But New York Fashion Week just ended, and it's so chaotic. It really is.
I can imagine, right? You've got such a great creative brain. How did you get into this stuff? And did you have an education or was it a passion?
Both.
Okay.
I went to Buffalo State College and I graduated with a degree in broadcasting, which really doesn't really pan out anymore these days either.
There's so many.
But I mean, everyone thinks they're a reporter these days because now it's all social media, like
Yeah,
we said before.
yeah,
So I went to Buffalo State College. I wrote for the Buffalo News for a little bit, and I decided I wanted to do more national instead of local stuff.
yeah,
And they didn't know what to do with me because I was basically I wanted to cover more national music acts,
yeah.
and they weren't having it. So I decided to
Oh,
move and get out.
yeah, that's what we got to say. We got to say, girl, back. We got to do what we got to do, right?
Yes, yes, for
Good.
sure.
Well, that's lovely to hear. And tell us a little bit more. You've interviewed some legendary acts like Lady Gaga, The Slash. What was the most memorable and unexpected
Well,
time that stands out to you?
both of them really were. Gaga, well, her publicist called me, and I was living in Buffalo at the time, and she came
Yeah.
up to Buffalo to perform. And he's like, "Do you want to interview Lady Gaga?" And she had one song out. She had Just Dance out. And I
Okay.
really didn't know too much about her.
So I can.
So I'm like, sure, let's hook it up.
Uh-huh.
And then he said, be at the hotel at this time and this date. And she has a small show afterwards. So I went. She came down the elevator wearing a one-piece leotard. I'll never forget this. This is just hysterical. I didn't know whether to laugh or take her seriously, but this was her performance wear,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
So she I sat next to her and it was an in-person interview and I asked her, are we looking towards new pop revolution? That was one of my questions out of a series of them. And she goes, yeah, I'm gonna be in it. I have a huge hole for me to leap through. The fans want me to do this.
That's so nice.
2 weeks later, Poker Face came out.
Oh, one of the best songs that she ever brought out. One of my favorites
Yes, yes,
all time.
yes, yeah.
That is
So
so.
that's my Gaga story.
You also worked with some indie acts as well. So tell us, how has that kind of shaped your vision and your outlook, as well as supporting, up and coming acts and the major acts?
Well, I think that's important too. Indie acts are very important because Lady Gaga was indie at one point,
Right.
and and then they end up signing with major labels. So I think it's very important to interview whoever you can get your hands on. That's basically what I'm saying, you
Yeah.
know?
As long as they're authentic and original.
Yes, yes, exactly. And it's hard to do in this day and age when everything's kind of been done before,
Right.
but still cool.
And this, do you think this is where the intersection of fashion and music come along? Because it's about originality, it's about style, it's about a look, it's about a feel. It's more than just a a simple one thing, right? And I think that's where fashion and music are really interconnected.
Yes, I agree with that very much so. Um, like I said, New York Fashion Week is a big event here in New York, obviously. And even off off of Fashion Week, you have musicians dressing up in designer um brands and whatnot, and sometimes they wear their own, sometimes they go to the thrift store. So it's interesting to see what they're wearing and who they're wearing.
Let me tell you, I'm always at the thrift store. That's where you find the best stuff and the vintage stuff that people can't always afford or don't,
Yes.
right?
Yes, I agree.
I love that. So tell us a little bit more. Do you actually design clothes as well as being a
No.
reviewer?
I
No.
wish I did. I wish I had that knack, but no, I interview a lot of designers and go to fashion shows, and that's about it
And
on
how,
the fashion side of things.
yeah, which is great. And what's the importance of having those brand collaborations, those people that come alongside you as an artist to help you create the vision? Because I think it's a collaboration, isn't it? Always. How
Yes.
can the brand and the artist combine to bring the same vision, values, and goals?
Ooh, that's a good question. Hmm, I don't even know how to answer that. But there's for example, Lady Gaga,
Mhm.
she knows how to combine fashion and art and music all in one.
Yeah,
So that's a big to do. That's a big to do. I don't think anyone else really does it right now, besides Madonna and
right.
whatnot. So
I think there's a few icons out there, and I think this is what an icon is. They're not just, and when people talk about iconic people, we're not just talking about music. We're talking about music, fashion, personality, but also what they represent and what they stand for. So, how important
yes.
is that to you, Robert?
What was that again? What's
How
the
important is
question?
that to you when working with people?
Working with people. Another good question. Basically what I do is I interview people by Zoom or in person, and then I do podcasts or on camera interviews. I
Okay,
don't know if you saw my work or not, but that's basically what I do in a nutshell. And it's all about it's a whole conglomerate of stuff that comes together at the end of the day. Like you said, music, personality, fashion, and all that jazz. So,
yeah. And how do you find people? What is it that you're looking for in a person?
ooh, I like that question. Individuality, creativity, definitely creativity,
Yeah.
and originality, like we talked about before too. I think it's important to have like all three in a nutshell, and I think it's important to be creative in this field
Yeah.
because there's a lot of like
Noise.
there's a lot of people doing the same thing
Yeah.
at sometimes, you know, so it's hard to stand out. It's hard
Uh-huh.
to stand out.
Okay, so where do you think that that sits now with originality, personality, but also, being different and where there's so much noise, there's so much, social media and people have short-term content and, the way they see things. How could you see that improving in the future? And how can we make that better for everyone?
I think social media will continue to exist.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's got its positives and negatives,
Hmm.
like anything else.
Mm.
So journalism is kind of going by the wayside a little bit,
Okay.
but in the future, I think we'll have. I mean, there's tons of music out there,
Uh-huh.
and I search for it through press and then through Groover, and Groover is another platform.
Very well. Yeah, I do know them.
Yeah, so you just got to weed through it all and just hope for the best.
That's awesome. And also, with the rise of podcasts, social media, and streaming, how has that role evolved in getting your message out there, but also your journalistic views and outputs? How does that, change over time?
Ooh, Another good question.
See, I like being in the hot spot for
I
once.
mean, journalism kind of intertwines with social media nowadays. So, like I said, everyone thinks they're a reporter, and
Yeah,
that's fine. You could be your own reporter on social media. That's cool. But there's no like main platform anymore besides Facebook and X, formerly Twitter,
yeah,
um, and TikTok.
yeah.
Those are my three to go-tos, and Instagram, obviously. Instagram is huge.
Okay. See, the thing with that I find it's a bit like music. It's become very decentralized, but also music has been demonetized. Do you find the
Yes.
same with journalism as well?
Yes, yes. It's not a lucrative field as much as it used to be.
Right.
Yes, for sure.
Cool.
But you got to find outlets that will pay. That's
Yeah.
basically it. That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And you got to be persistent about it.
Right.
That's another, persistence is huge.
Absolutely.
Huge.
Absolutely. And also consistency. But should
Yes.
we talk about, what you're talking about is what techniques, what styles, what other things that stand out to you? Because you've worked with major acts, you've worked with indie acts. What are those qualities that people could attain to be or try and, emulate?
A little evolution, and for like the established acts, they need to be evolve, obviously, and become into something more accessible, you know. Even with the indie acts, they can't. I mean, here's the thing: like if you have an indie act and they're starting to do the same thing over and over again, it gets kind of stale. But
Yeah.
if they evolve, then some people will think, oh, they're selling out, and then it's a fine line.
Yeah.
But you got to stay original and creative. That's what it comes down to.
Innovation, right? And cutting edge. Because I think
Yes.
Lady Gaga's talked about this on the edge, right?
Oh yeah,
With
yeah,
some
yeah, yeah, for
music
sure.
like that, like sometimes you're literally on the edge because you're trying to make something new, but you're trying to bring the old people and the people that
Along.
generated it along with you,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes. Love it.
Yeah, I love it too. Yeah, and I think it's one of the things that I look at and I'm like, it really relates to me and it's personal. So how important is that personality, that personal connection with people that you feel, yeah, I'm part of this.
It's universal across the board, I think. It's a theme that I carry with me throughout any interview I do.
Mhm.
And you got to make people feel comfortable, and you have to make the artist or the designer feel at home,
Yeah,
you
you've
know?
got to build that relationship, those meaningful relationships, right?
Yes, that's all what this business is about, is building relationships.
Yes.
Believe me.
And how important has been, networking and going out there and meeting new people? How has that been for you? And has
It,
that helped?
yeah, it's very important. You got to get out there, you got to network. You have to just get yourself out there,
Yes.
because um my name has been my email has been on some email lists, and that's really cool, but you got to put a face
So
next
the
to
name,
that email.
yeah, you hear
I
the
think
name
that's important.
to meet the person. You want to get to know them. And
Yes,
how
yes.
respect and trust. How important has that been to you over the years? Building that trust, those relationships that you can rely on those people. They're good.
Oh, especially with publicity, you have to build that bond.
Yes.
And then the more they see your name, the more they'll feel like comfortable with you, or whatever the case might be. Same with the editors. That's a harder relationship to develop,
Yeah.
because the music and fashion worlds, they're very clicky.
Yeah, well, it all is. Every
Yes,
all of the industries that we're in are very clicky, and it's fine.
yes. So it's hard to get on an editor's radar more than a publicist's radar, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah. And what kind
But
of
as long as you build that relationship up, and you will build a trust with
yeah,
them, and
yeah, and
yeah,
be consistent with it and stay authentic and stick to your word. Don't
yes,
flop because I think we all hate that right now,
sure,
right? So yeah, what
yes.
advice would you give to someone coming into the industry right now that wants to either be in fashion or music? What advice would you give to them?
Persistence. I said that before. I'm going to say it again.
Yeah.
I'm going to put an anecdote out there. When I was in college, I asked the professor, how do I write? This was a long time ago. How do I write for a school newspaper? And he said to me, well, your writing's probably not good enough.
Okay.
That alone,
Oh
he
no,
never read my writing.
I can make myself. I'm a quick. No,
That alone sparked me to be motivated, get that motivation.
yeah.
And that's basically what you're going to run into
Huh?
everywhere.
Yes.
So that he helped me realize that, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you didn't even read my writing.
Peter, we got off vibes and energy. And I think that's where a lot of us go in the creative field, right? It's
Yes,
it's that feeling, it's that I don't know, you just know when you know, right? I think it's one of
right,
those instinct feelings.
right.
Always trust your gut. Do you go with that?
I do, I do.
Good. That's nice to hear. So tell us
Yeah.
more about some of the challenges and barriers you faced being in music and fashion.
Um, Getting published to the major outlets.
Okay. Taken seriously
Um, what's that?
and get taken seriously sometimes as well.
Yeah, yeah, get taken seriously. Pitching is really, really difficult, and just getting noticed by the editors because they don't have time for freelancers. And
But
there's not a budget for freelancers either on at most magazines nowadays.
and I also think
So,
freelancers, we're not always protected, by a lot of the laws or legislations that people bring out in different countries because
yeah,
we're freelance. We're not
yeah,
actually protected by a lot of the things that you talk about, right? So how has
correct.
it affected you?
How does that affect me?
How has it affected you in the past? Not always being protected and being freelance and not having that security, that stability that I think a lot of us like to have.
As long as you have that creative buzz,
Yeah.
I think you'll be fine.
Okay.
That's basically it in a nutshell. I There isn't, I don't think there is stability as a full-time writer either.
In any of the creative industries, I think it's very unstable, but that's the problem. There's a lot of people that are trying to find stability or security in an
Sure.
stable environment, which
Sure. And in this day and age, there is no such thing.
okay. So tell us a little bit more about, your fashion influences, what's inspired you, what's empowered you.
Ooh. I met Anna Wintour.
Awesome.
Yeah, and she was super nice.
Uh-huh.
I met Fern Malice.
Okay.
She's the founder of New York Fashion Week.
Yes.
So the people you meet in the field are great and spectacular, and I love that feeling of like
Big,
bonding with them,
bigger than you, right?
Yeah, oh God, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And what kind of things does that involve? Being in part of Fashion Week and being part of that team. What is in the background that people don't see, or they don't appreciate, or don't understand about it?
It's, some shows are so hectic
Uh-huh.
and unorganized. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But when they are organized and when they run smoothly, everyone enjoys it. That's what it comes down to.
Okay. And how do you find the latest fashions, the vibes? What inspires you to create those next looks, and what draws you to that?
Everything comes back, and that's basically it. I think fashion is a cycle, and some things come back with a different trend or different design.
Mhm.
A lot of people say the baggy look is not in anymore. They don't like it. They like the
All
tight
about tight.
clothes.
Girl, I'm all about the tight fit stuff. It's
Yeah, 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 yeah.
tighten me up.
So
Need it.
maybe that's going to be the future of fashion. I really don't know. But AI is taking over in fashion as well, too.
Mhm.
And
It's
then you see
like
brick and mortars are closing down everywhere. But in the major cities, you see them still open, but in smaller towns, they're pretty much going gone.
okay. Touch on something with AI, and you get digital clothes. You can get things, merchandise and little bits of designs, on computer games and all sorts of interactive material now. How has that impacted the fashion industry? And do you think it's a bonus or a minus to how much you can do?
Like I said, it's a plus and a minus anywhere in any creative industry, really, with AI.
Yeah,
It's touchy because a lot of people say they're losing jobs. A lot of people are gaining more jobs or getting more experience with AI, and and it's helpful.
yeah.
In fashion, I'm seeing that basically you don't have to shop in store anymore, and you could automatically just get your clothes from wherever the case might be,
Okay.
whatever designer.
I could actually make a bin bag and make it look good if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah,
would,
yeah,
right?
for sure.
So tell us a little bit more. Like you're looking ahead, you're looking to the future. What is next? What's going on? That's some
Ooh.
that.
I I hope that Rolling Stone magazine stays current and doesn't go away.
Of course not. They better not.
It better not because a lot of magazines have disappeared off
Better
the
not.
radar.
Okay.
But a lot of people are saying like with social media and AI, nothing's gonna like those magazines aren't gonna exist anymore.
Online audiences as well. So it's not, it doesn't always have to be published, shall we say,
Right,
a physical copy. It can also,
right.
online and digital, but it's how you integrate that and how you connect with a new generation.
Sure, sure, sure. That's important to connect everything all together. To have print maybe and an online presence
Of course.
is the way to go, I think, to
Of course.
please both old and new
Yes.
comers. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
So when you're looking to the younger ones, what do you see? What's your inspiration? What's your hope? What's your, your thoughts now when you're looking back, at the younger ones that are coming up now? Do you think
I hope, I really hope and aspire that they are as persistent as the older generation and they don't give up.
Of course, great advice.
Yeah.
And I think,
Yeah.
you've got some really good stories to the table today. You've really
Thank you.
shone a light on music, but not just music, but fashion and what's inspired you. So I just want to say thank you so much. You've been an absolute diamond, as
Thank,
always,
thank you.
and I'm wishing you all the best. And thanks for coming on my show. Because we,
Yeah, no problem.
thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to see you and meet you.
Thank you.